Well, it wasn't much of a Mother's Day. I'm glad everybody had a nice Mom's Day. It was a miserable Mother's Day for the moms, but I hope everybody enjoyed themselves and took your mom out yesterday. This is Weber on Sports here on a Monday, the 13th of May, 2013. We welcome you on a chilly Monday morning, but they're telling us the weather will change and it'll be up in the 70s before the midweek has arrived, and we certainly could use that nice warm weather again. Welcome, everybody, on a Monday. Hope you're checking us out live. We've got special guests this morning and young entrepreneurs coming in and talking about their operation. And, of course, without further ado, Melissa and Matt Mancine. They join us this morning on the Weber Show. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, they now are the operators of the Executive Links course, the 9-hole course that's part of the New York Chiropractic College. Previously to them running it, it was run by the New York Chiropractic College. We'll get into how they decided to come over and take over this enterprise. And they also are involved in the Newark Country Club. So without further ado, we welcome Matt and Melissa. First off, Matt, this goes out, and certainly want to ask you, both of you can comment. Give us an idea of your background, where you went to school, et cetera, how long you've been together, and tell us a little about your involvement with Newark before you decided to come and take over the Seneca Falls operation.
Well, I actually started off in high school. I graduated from Webster, and I started off at Ontario Golf Club, which is now the Brookwoods. Sure. I started off working in the pro shop, caddying for people in tournaments, and wanted more hours, and saw the guys mowing. I'm like, that's something that looks pretty cool. I want to get involved with that. So I started basically just mowing on the weekends and working in the turf industry, starting off that way. Started pursuing it a little bit further. I asked the superintendent there if what does it take to get a degree, and went over to SUNY Delhi, got my turf degree management, degree in turf management and degree in golf course operations. Started landing a couple superintendent jobs, just kept on sticking at it. Went on, my last job was with John Deere Golf, which was formerly Let's Go, and went around and visited golf courses. And during that, I was writing spray programs and fertilizer programs for golf courses. And during that, I came across Erie Falcon, which is now Newark Country Club. Saw the course was in desperate need. 80% of the greens were dead. The course, the rough was about 3 feet tall. I'm like, it's only 15 minutes from my house, and I'm like, this is something I could probably get involved with, and kind of started the course over there.
So now the Newark tie-in, you've been involved with Newark for how many years?
2 years.
2 years, okay. Now, what do you actually do at Newark as far as your role there?
We lease the golf course.
Okay, lease it, okay. Now, explain to our viewers, the Newark course, certainly a course that's, what, a 9-hole operation?
9-hole operation, but it can be played as 18 holes because there's 2 different sets of tees. So every time you go to hole 1, and you're hitting straight down. When you go to hole 10, you kind of have a little bit of, it's over to the right a little bit, and you have a different angle. So every hole has a different approach.
And how is the participation with Newark that you've experienced the last couple of years?
It's been great. We started off with that first year, it was like 6 members, and now we're up to about 90 members and going strong. We have a good following. I've
had the opportunity to play that. It's been a couple of years, but I remember it's got some challenging holes, if I recall correctly.
That's right.
So yeah, with my golf game, any hole is a challenge. But
it actually plays almost like a true 18-hole golf course. The length is there. You can use your driver. I mean, a lot of people think, well, it's only a 9-hole course, but you can still pull out the driver on just about every hole except for the par 3s. A lot of dog legs, a lot of trees, very narrow landing areas. It's certainly a challenging golf course.
Now, this pretty young lady to your left, tell me how you met her and how long you guys been hooked up together.
We've been together about 10 years.
We've been married 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And I met her. Took a job out in Utica, where she's from, at a golf course, and
I was working at a coffee shop in the mall. That was my second job, and that's where we met.
Yeah.
Family?
Yeah, we've got we have 3 kids total.
Okay, 3 kids. Ages?
Yeah, we've got a 17-year-old from Matt's first marriage, and then we have a 9-year-old girl and a 7-year-old little boy.
And that keeps you moving, I'm sure.
Sure does.
The 7 and 9 especially.
That's right.
I got a granddaughter who's going to be 15. She's going on 22.
Is that
right? Yeah. May 31st is her 15th birthday. It's hard to believe. I can still remember carrying her around when she was 3 months old. So it's kind of weird.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun. So now you're involved heavily. And tell me about, Melissa, when did you get involved in the office and overseeing prices and stuff as far as Newark? Are you involved obviously with that as well? When did you get involved in that?
Well, I started a little bit kind of in the middle of last season.
Okay.
I've been a stay-at-home mom for 9 years with Emily, and I decided it was time for me to get back to work now that the kids are in school full-time. And really, I didn't do too much in Newark last year. I just worked in the pro shop, maybe 15 or 20 hours. But this year, I'm more full-time with Executive Links and Newark, so I'm kind of back and forth.
All right, we certainly we have Matt and Melissa Mancine, the operators of the Executive Links on Route 89, part of the beautiful New York Chiropractic College campus. Certainly, we will get into how they ended up in Seneca Falls under miserable conditions yesterday. I visited their golf course yesterday to check them out, and I was the only one there, especially Estelle was there too. But that was it. It was just blowing hard. It was miserable. But thanks to a lot of great sponsors to make this show possible, it's time to take our commercial break. We'll hear from all the great people that sponsor the Weber Show. And then when we come back, we'll ask them how they ended up in Seneca Falls. Coming up, more with Matt and Melissa Mancine in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Dog H. Weber with you with another edition of Weber on Sports here on a Monday, the 13th of May. And again, I would like to send out my best to all the moms who were celebrating yesterday. And I've always had a real problem with us spotlighting moms one day a year. I know my mom is 92. God bless her. We had dessert with her yesterday. She got some Alzheimer issues, but God bless her. She was in a cheerful mood yesterday. And I just want to say that hope all you moms had a wonderful day. And I think you ought to be spotlighted every day of the year, because where would we be without our moms? So hope you had a good time yesterday, and I feel bad for all these restaurants that were doing outside seating yesterday. Not because we went to Canandaigua, and we had friends of ours to meet us over there, and it was just brutal, but thank God we were inside. We're talking this morning to Matt and Melissa Mancine, who are involved in operating the Newark Country Club. And now we're going to go to phase 2. Somehow they found a way to come to Seneca Falls and now oversee the Executive Links, which is part of the New York Chiropractic College campus. So, Matt, without further ado, tell us how you and Melissa ended up in Seneca Falls.
Well, the person that formerly ran that course, Chip, we actually went golfing together last fall, and he was talking about possibly leaving and help his wife with her business. And he goes, well, they've been talking about leasing it, and well, I'd be willing to take on something else. And basically, we sat down over the winter, we talked, and they offered me something that I couldn't walk away from. And I think it's a great niche. I think that course has a lot of potential. The driving range is wonderful.
Oh, it's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a great course for people to work on their game.
And I know, as I told you before we went on the air this morning, you'll see a lot of me during the summertime hitting balls, unless my game is at tip-top shape, and that's never the case. I can shoot 84 and 104, depending on what day it is. Sometimes the ball stays in bounds, sometimes it ends up in the water, but I have no idea where I'm hitting it most of the time. But I do have an advantage, though. I'm 68. I just turned 68 April 29th, and I have the ability. We have decided to go from the gold tees, which are the front tees, as you know, Matt, and it makes the game so much more fun.
You guys aren't that old where you got to play from the gold tees.
We're nearing 70, Jimbo. 7-0, baby.
Yeah, but you still hit the ball.
Well, we hit it good.
210, 220.
But you know what, Jim? We like it from there because it's such a much pleasure because you can reach all the par 4s and par 5s if you're hitting it in regulation.
Well, next time you tell me you shot an 82, I'll take it with a grain of salt. I'll know it's from the golds. But
hey, listen, we're not embarrassed one bit. We have a good time, so we enjoy it. Myself, John King, and Brad Jones, and playing with Brad Jones is like playing with the devil. He never shuts up. He acts like he's Arnold Palmer. And he's the guy that shoots 120. Just kidding. Maybe from the Golds. But, okay, so you ended up coming to Seneca Falls, and now obviously you got to put together a package. We're going to run down some of the rates, and that'll be Melissa's expertise. Some of the rates that you guys have announced, let me just run some of this through, Melissa. Certainly a single membership is $250.
That's right.
All right, and then a family membership is $400, and I assume that means any members of the family, right?
It means immediate family or living in the household.
All right. We have a 2012 season pass holder, so if you were a pass holder last year, you can come back for $200.
That's right.
All right. Now we have seniors. That'd be me. 60 plus, that's 10% off.
That's right.
All right. Seniors with a spouse is $325, which I like. Junior membership, $180, and which I think you guys have done, which obviously you would want to do. You certainly want to give credit to the New York Chiropractic College, and your rates reflect that. For a student of the New York Chiropractic College, $50.
That's right.
That's pretty darn reasonable,
yes,
huh?
It is.
I mean, that's like ka-ching. And, of course, if you're a faculty member of the New York Chiropractic, it's only $85, which is smart because I remember hitting a lot of balls at your place, and I remember a lot of the college individuals, kids, they're not kids, but individuals coming over and playing too. So that's a good idea to make sure they're part of it. And, of course, we want to remind everybody students and faculty must present valid NYCC ID card to qualify, which makes sense. Now let's talk about some daily rates. All day, every day. 9 holes walking's $10. Mm-hmm. With a cart is only $15. 18 holes walking is $13, and with a cart is $20. Let's see. Juniors 12 and under, half off price.
That's right.
All right. Must be accompanied by an adult.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely.
Now, leagues, 9 holes walking $9, and with a cart is $14. Okay, you got a loyalty cards, which means you get 2 rounds free, and that, of course, if you want to sign up for 10 rounds of golf, 9 holes walking is $80.
That's right.
And 10 rounds of 9 holes with a cart is $125. And one thing I noticed that you did not change your range prices, because I remember paying $3 a year ago.
Yep, we didn't change them. We kept them the same.
So the ranges are $3 for a bucket, $8 for 3 buckets, and for $12 you get 5 buckets. So the savings is obviously based on number of. You still got the tokens, right?
It's a good deal.
It's a good deal.
Yep.
For
Very
hitting
good.
balls.
Very good deal.
40 golf balls per token.
Right.
Yep.
And that's
So
good.
for $8, you are hitting 120 balls,
Yes.
and that's enough to give anybody their fill, I think.
Now, if you have video on the driving range, you might see some 68-year-old gray-haired guy who's a sportscaster go out on the range and get the balls that I top.
Yeah.
If you guys would turn your heads and look the other way.
We can do that.
All right, good. Sometimes.
As long as there's nobody else on the range hitting India.
Sometimes I do that. I have to admit, here on Weber's show, it's my own show, and I got to tell you, I do that. I have done that, though. I've gawked down, picked up a few balls that I've dubbed. Oh, God, embarrassing. But anyways, let's talk about leagues. Every golf course certainly, has certain league opportunities. Talk about your leagues. Melissa, what days do you have league action?
So we have a Wednesday morning women's league. Mm-hmm. They may be looking for a couple extra, but for the most part, it's pretty filled up. Mm-hmm. We have a Thursday night men's league that I believe is still has openings, and it's still forming now. Mm-hmm. We have a couple of gentlemen who are interested in another morning men's league. Mm-hmm. We have signups in the pro shop for that right now. We're trying to get that filled, and it was just brought to my attention that there's a woman who would like a sign up for an afternoon ladies league. So we have a couple of different options, and we're still trying to fill up some of those leagues.
How about a co-ed league?
We don't have anything like that right now, but if the interest is there.
That would be fun too, I guess, yeah. Even though I've been married 47 years, May 7th, we could be heading for divorce if my wife and myself tried to play together, because I try to give her a few tips and it never works. All right, let's talk about food and beverage opportunities at your place. Any opportunities to eat there? Any food? You can have hot dogs. You can have sandwiches. What's the plans?
Yeah, we're still considering that as an option, just depending on whether the need or the interest is there. Right now we've got just a bunch of snacks, and we're working on getting a soda machine in there. We can sell Gatorade and water and soda right now.
Okay.
How about over in Newark? What's the food service like over there?
Almost the same thing.
Okay.
Last year the restaurant was being run. The restaurant closed down. So now we're working at we're definitely going to do hot dogs, hamburgers, just type of grill type food. And basically we'll see what the needs of the golfers are. But as of right now, we don't offer food up there.
Okay.
But I've been telling everybody by Wednesday night men's league, I'm going to have hot dogs and hamburgers, and that's this Wednesday. So we have to have a plan. And
well, I think it's wonderful. Certainly, when you finish a round of golf, usually the case is most people want to have a snack or a sandwich or something. And certainly, to Melissa's point, you don't want to bring in a lot of food and not sell it, obviously, too. Right. So you want to be able to. Jimmy deals with that with our club, Seneca Falls Country Club. Do you staff enough people? Do you have enough food? Do you have the right variety? And that's something that Jim and the board of directors of Seneca Falls, where I'm a member of, certainly that's an issue that all boards deal with. You can buy too many supplies and not sell it, and then you're wasting money too. So it sounds to me, based on, and again, I have had the opportunity of playing. We're with Matt and Melissa Mancine this morning on the Weber Show. I've had the opportunity to play the course a few times down there, and I like it because, to me, it's like a prep course. You're hitting a lot of iron shots. And also, Matt, what I like about your operation is your greens are elevated, whereas you can't bump them in very often. You got to fly it in, which I like. And you're using 7, 8, 9 irons a lot. And to me, that is a good opportunity to come out and work on your game.
Absolutely.
An excellent opportunity to work on your golf game. The prices are very reasonable, and certainly it affords golfers of all skill sets. Now, as far as, let me ask you something, dress code. Any dress codes there? Come out as you are, Bermuda shorts, I obviously shorts, but you have any issues with anything?
We prefer proper golf attire.
Okay.
But obviously, if somebody comes out in like a sport T-shirt or something like that, that's fine. But no cutoffs, and and certainly you have to keep your shirt on.
Now, if people have tokens, let's say they buy the tokens and you guys are not open yet, can they go out and hit balls out of the machine without you guys there?
Yep.
Okay, so that's permissible.
Members can always walk, and I say token holders can use the driving range.
Okay, so that's important. Now, your vision for this operation, explain to us. Obviously, you want to make this a family affair. You want the mom and the dad and the kids to come out, and certainly the men and the women have their leagues. Is the goal just to have a fun atmosphere, and that's the whole scenario behind what you're trying to do?
Well, that is ultimately the goal, but kind of like at Newark, a lot of people, when I first took over Newark, they're like, well, you're going to have this, that. I'm like, well, no, I'm going to let the golf community decide what we're going to do.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the same, basically apply the same principles up here in Seneca, or down here in Seneca. I'm going to we'll see how the season goes. We'll do kind of things pretty much the same, and we'll let the golf community kind of tell us what they want, what they think could happen. Possibly maybe on the left side of the driving range, maybe you could put a couple sand traps there, maybe put another chipping green over there, and make it more of a practice facility. Cater a little bit more to kids, because it's we got some youth camps that are going to be coming up this summer. It's such a short course, and from the blue tees, the longest hole is only 212 yards, or 210 yards, and for most people from the blue tees, that's a par 3, but they're considered par 4.
Right.
But to pull out a 4-iron and try and stick that green that's elevated,
it's not easy.
Small landing zone, that's going to be pretty difficult for a challenging golfer.
And we should point out, both you guys come out of Sodas. You live in Sodas.
Correct.
So, that's just not around the corner, so we appreciate you driving in this morning to come to the show. I guess you're right. I think, having been at your facility many times, either hitting balls or playing the course, I found it quite attractive because it allowed me to hit shots that I needed to work on. 7, 8 irons, 9 irons, and like you say, a couple of longer holes. But it was a good experience, and I think one thing that you did have, or the course offered under previous operations, was lessons. Are you planning on having a pro come in and do lessons on the range? Because I remember that was a big feature way back when.
We definitely will. We're kind of going back and forth with exactly how we're going to go about doing it. But most likely be an outside pro that's just kind of using our facilities, and we promote his name, and he kind of comes out and has his own rates and stuff.
Sure.
But we certainly plan on doing that, and like I said, when we do golf clinics, we'll have a couple pros and PGA certified pros.
Yeah. Well, speaking of PGA, we'll take a break for a second. We'll come back and talk. I just want to run down our guests that we have scheduled. Speaking of PGA, Matt gave us a perfect lead-in. We have Matt and Melissa joining us this morning on the Weber Show, but we are thrilled to have landed a great interview via the phone next week. Fingers are crossed that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. As you know, Matt and Melissa are talking golf. There's probably no more sensation than the city of Rochester, New York, which will have the dubious distinction of one of the few cities in the country ever to host two major championships in the same year. The Wegmans LPGA, the ladies come to town in a couple of weeks. I believe that's the first week of June at Locust Hill up in Rochester. The Paula Creamers, you name it, Christy Kerr, Suzanne Peterson, all the greatest women players in the world. Michelle, whatever happened to her golf game, will be in town. It's amazing to me how that woman has just lost it. And now she's got a putting stance. Have you seen it, Jim, her new putting stance? Michelle?
No.
Oh, my God. She bends over. She's about 6'2". It's the most unorthodox, weirdest looking stance in my life. But she'll be in the Rochester area. But again, the LPGA comes with the Wegmans LPGA, which is a major championship on their calendar. And I believe that starts first week of June. And then, of course, need no introduction, the Oak Hill course, the East and the West course, which I've had the chance to play for years when I was with Gould's Pumps. We had a friend that invited us up. You talk about a tough layout. The East course, of course, the host of many major tournaments in its history, plus the Ryder Cup, will be hosting Glory's Last Shot August 8th through the 11th of this year. And as Matt can appreciate, the superintendent, I'm sure they have a staff of probably a couple hundred people ready to go. And I'm sure that course will be manicured, and it will be set up very difficult. Oak Hill can be a treacherous golf course. If you get the wind working in that rough, you know about rough, Matt, they can make that course brutal. Ryan Cannon, the PGA Championship Director, will join us next week on the Weber Show via phone for the entire show. We'll get an update from Ryan about where we stand, where he stands as far as the number of volunteers. I'm sure they got thousands of volunteers for that event. That, of course, the PGA Championship Director, Ryan Cannon, will be with us next week on this show. We hope that you'll join us. And the following week, we will not be here because it's Memorial Day. Gym is closed, and we will be enjoying the holiday. On Monday, June 3rd, I have a little medical procedure I need to deal with, hopefully nothing serious. So I won't be in the house on June 3rd. Jim may very well host the show.
I will.
He will be hosting the show on June 3rd, and that'll be good. On June 10th, Brad Jones, my longtime pal, will be in the house. He'll be talking about Republican politics of the town of Seneca Falls. And also, without Brad Jones here, you know he's going to bring up the Cayuga Indian Nation issue regarding foreclosure and the collection of taxes. Those will be a couple of topics that Brad Jones will be in the house on the 10th of June. On the 17th of June, speaking of Matt and Melissa in New York Chiropractic College, who better to have on the couch but their president, Frank Nietzsche, a longtime friend of mine. Dr. Frank Nietzsche, the New York College, or Chiropractic College, will be in the house on the couch for the entire half hour talking about his love of golf. And I don't know if you guys know it or not, but he plays at Seneca Falls Country Club, and he's always with Sweet Lou DiLorenzo, and they play about 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
6:40. They tee off.
They walk it.
The twosome.
They
walk it.
Good
We
for
were
them.
teeing off the other day at our normal, 8:39-ish. And I looked behind me, and there they are walking up, and I said, you guys go ahead of us. Oh, no, we already played, dog. We already played 9. Amazing. They love the game of golf. So Frank Nietzsche will be in the house on the 17th of June. So, and then, of course, the last booking that we've got so far, the 24th of June, the Trinity Episcopal Church, which, of course, I think Jim would agree with me since he's a media member and a media phenom, will be probably the most photographed church in this town of Seneca Falls, overlooking the canal.
It's the most photographed structure in upstate New York.
I was going to say, it is a gorgeous church. They are obviously got ravaged with high winds, ruining their roof, costing tons of money to repair that roof. And we unfortunately can tell it because the blue tarp is still on part of that roof. They will be in. Ted Flock, my former classmate, and Doug Avery will be in on the 24th of June to talk about how they're doing and how we and how you, the viewer, can help out, maybe sending a $10, $20 donation to help them out. They'll be in on the 24th. And again, I want to remind everybody as well that we are looking elsewhere to continue to book guests. We're looking to try to bring in John Rossi, the golf director of the Geneva Country Club. He's on our hit list. Brittany Anderson, the Phenom Senior, we're working on with her dad. I'll be checking with him tonight. She's the senior that's leaving Miners Academy with an outstanding...
Scored 100 goals in lacrosse, and she's a 1,000-point scorer in basketball.
Outstanding
Sectional
athlete.
champs in basketball this year.
Outstanding athlete. We want her in the studio. Jen Stanton will be in. We're trying to track her down. She's working on that benefit up in Geneva, Jimmy, which you're involved in. The caring for the weight, that deal that you guys are working on. we'll get to that later. But also, there's another individual that we want to get in, a couple individuals, which kind of caught my curiosity. Blast painting by Ross and Daryl Jones, where they have the guns and they shoot the paintballs. They have that business in Geneva. I've always been caught up in something like that. We're trying to get them in for an interview as well. So as you can tell, we have a full docket of many people scheduled to come in, but we're spending some time this morning with Matt and Melissa. Now, as we wrap up the show, Melissa, what is your message to our viewers? Come on out and support, obviously, Executive Links.
Absolutely.
And you'll treat them well, and they'll have an absolute wonderful time.
I hope so. I hope they do.
And Matt, your thoughts as well. Same thing, right?
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, come on and give us a shot, and let's grow. Let's grow together.
Well, that's what I think, and I think it's important that we pass the word around, and hopefully this vehicle will allow you guys to get some people that may have not shown up and may take a shot at joining in. You'll see this guy, down there soon.
Running a golf course nowadays is tough because first of all, you got 5K races. You have the lakes around here. A lot of people boat, and it seems that the way things are now, that a family that might otherwise be golfers buy a boat, and that's all they have time for. It seems like, and then you got the little leagues and the all the summer camps, and so it's a time thing, to decide to golf or not, and that's a challenge. And then of course the cost of everything to maintain a golf course. What do you guys think is like the biggest challenge, moving forward to your businesses?
It's tough with only 9-hole golf courses, but we got to tap that market, and that's really the key. We got to find that niche, and are we priced a little bit too high, a little bit too low? We got to make sure it's right. But then again, maybe we can offset stuff with like maybe food or something, and really pump that driving range. And really, it's getting people to come out and play again. And
that's kind of the beauty of, or bonus of the 9-hole course. Even the par 3 in Seneca Falls and the 9-hole course in Newark is, it's not a 4-hour thing.
Exactly.
If you want to come down and play 9 holes after golf, it's easy. You don't necessarily have to make a huge commitment. So yeah, it is tough though, because there's a lot of land there that needs to be maintained by a staff, and so you need people to come out and play. It's a short season, which is another problem, but it's a tough nut to crack. But I think that the golf courses that have kind of made it over the past 5-10 years through the economic downturn are here to stay now. So
I would agree.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the best 9-hole courses, John Rossi, Geneva. I think Geneva Country Club, in my view, my father-in-law was a member there for 30 years. I had a chance to play that course a lot of times. I always referred to as the Augusta National of the Northeast. That course is spectacular.
It's a great course.
For a 9-hole layout.
I've always had really fast greens, some of the best greens.
Oh, and I always remind some of the old-time members there that are still, God bless, are still alive. I always needle them about years and years ago, and Jim can relate to this since he's a member of the board of the Seneca Falls Country Club. They had a vote to buy the land across the road to make that an 18-hole layout. They turned it down.
No kidding.
And I'm amazed. To this day, I'm so amazed that Geneva Country Club has the membership they do, which I think is great, to get all those people around during tournaments and weekly play and weekend play. How they do it is a magical thing. Because, as you know, I don't need to tell you this, and certainly I don't need to tell Jim. You can only move so many people on a 9-hole golf course.
That's right.
And it's amazing to me that Geneva has done as well as they've done and they have a spectacular 9-hole layout. Don't get me wrong. And like you say, they have the double T scenario. And I've always enjoyed playing there. And as Jim said, you get above some of those greens or pins, forget about it.
Private course too.
And it's a private course.
Seneca Falls is now public.
And
a lot of courses
it's amazing.
Transition. They've stayed private. That appeals to some people.
I give kudos to Geneva because
definitely.
I mean, I get anxious when I make the turn, and I used to play Geneva a lot, and I used to make the turn during tournaments, and there would be 7 groups. You're waiting to alternate.
Right.
But they have a magical way of doing it. They have a great restaurant, and they do it well. So I give kudos. We want to get John Rossi on up at there. He's the golf director.
They're smart. And the courses that have survived this economic crunch, they've been smart. And that's really it.
Well, listen, we do appreciate you guys taking some time. It wasn't that bad. Didn't hurt, did it, Melissa?
Oh, I'm okay.
All right, so you guys, everybody who comes up here to do the interview, they start freaking out before they come off the elevator. They're going to a dark chamber. But,
it's kind of scary up here.
It's kind of scary with all these cameras, but we hope that you had a good time. We thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
Continued success, and we'd like to have you come back later in the season, see how it turned out for you.
Sure.
Sounds good.
All right. So Matt and Melissa Mancine, the new operators of the Executive Links on Route 89, part of the beautiful New York Chiropractic College campus. And we thank them for spending 30 minutes with us this morning on the Weber Show. Just a reminder, folks, speaking of golf, we stay on the golf theme next week, an exclusive interview The championship director, Ryan Cannon of Oak Hill Country Club, will be our special guest, talking about Glory's last shot as the PGA comes to the famed Oak Hill course August 8th through the 11th. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. That's a look at sports my way.